Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel, and in today's video we are going to be summarizing the past 2 weeks of Darkmoor teasers. Now, I am going to organize this video into different sections: the good, the bad, the funny, and of course the lore we know about Darkmoor. Currently, the main purpose of this video is to provide feedback to the developers and also get you guys ready for the Darkmoor update, what to expect, and some of the cards that you might want to pre-farm. So without further ado, let's get into the new spells right away. So I am basically just gonna fire through these because basically if I don't, I'll be here for like half an hour. If you are an ice player, you're going to want to have Deer Mouse, Ice Elemental, and Climaclysm. If you are a fire player, you're going to want to run the Dark Fiend, Brimstone, Krampus, Apocalypse, and the new FFA. If you are a Storm, you're going to want the Catalan, Catch, Queen, Rosolka, and Dark and Stormy. If you are a Balance, you're going to want the Lore Master, Samurai, Savage Paw, and Gaze of Fate. If you are a Myth, you're going to want the Shadow Nova. The Dark Nova is alright as well. Yaga, Saga, Snake, Hero, Keeper, and Eden. Myth got the best library buff this update in terms of every school in the game. If you are a Life, you're going to want Wings, Shadow Seraph, Yamasu, Lord of the Jungle, Camp Bandit, Goat Monk, and Lumi. And if you are a Death, you're going to want Dark Shepherd, Shadow Shepherd, Snack Attack, Wings Herald, Reader, and Lulu. If the devs could change any of these spells, I would probably recommend that they change Lulu to Clear Heals to Infections. This is really good for multiple reasons. One, the community's been asking for a bot clear to infection for a long time. The only one we have is Dr. Vaughn, but it's way too expensive and generally not worth it. And in case you guys are living under a rock and whatnot, Life is going to be the best school next update because they are basically unkillable right now with Jading, and Jading is getting like 5+ buffs this update. And the devs announced they're not putting the heal cap in. I would suggest that if they're not going to put a heal cap in, make Lulu clear hots for infections for 5 pips, because at least that way you have a good heal counter, and maybe it could mitigate the disaster of, Life's running Q and Jading in the next update here. So that is something I would suggest for them to look at. Okay, so let's talk about the good changes in this update, y'all. So number one, we finally are getting a huge PvP update. Like, the amount of spells that are getting changed here is like insane. I honestly can't even count how many are getting changed and whatnot, and a lot of them are really good changes and whatnot. But we have spells like Skills that is finally going to be dead. It just sucks we had to suffer for 3 years seeing that spell clicked every single day, spammed every match, but it's finally dead. It's here, so I'm very happy about that. Number two, shadow spells are getting buffed in PvE. It's pretty much just one extra click to get a colossal hit. For example, take the newer Solka in PvE. It does 2300 with an epic enchant. We've never had that much damage before in PvE. Number three, higher DPP schools, mostly Storm, let's be honest, is finally going to be able to dual school, just like the 6 other schools have been able to for the past year, ever since Solanopolis came out. It sucks we had to wait a whole year to experience the dual schooling update, but it is what it is. We still don't have any news or details on how they fixed this problem and whatnot. We just know from Stormbringer and the Wizard. 4, some spells got a damage nerf and utility buff, so this will slow down the pace of the game, which is a good thing in my opinion. Even as a Storm main, I don't enjoy how fast-paced the meta is right now. Granted, there are still some crazy things that the devs forgot to fix, like Ghoul, Poison. Overall, why I prefer a slower-paced meta is because skill expression matters more and RNG matters less. Right now, there's already a crap ton of RNG in PvP. Many people have been asking for that to be dialed down, whether it's like, crit, deck RNG, pet Maycast, or the game is so short, if you don't pull your 4 Google Docs moves in the first couple of rounds, you just lose usually, right? So, yeah, I think this is good for the game. Next up, I want to talk about some things that I found really, really funny. So the developers listened to the community's complaints about the Ghoul Blade being way too good and spammable, and they decided to nerf the damage by 20 instead of nerfing the blade potency. This is quite literally the polar opposite of what the community was asking for, but I gotta say it's pretty funny, and many other people in the community and the Discord are just laughing their asses off at this because it's just hilarious, right? The issue with Ghoul is it's a faint blade for free that is never a bad move. It's only ever a bad move in the mirror matchup because a death could like skeletal dragon the single blade. Either shield gambits need to be 1 pip, so there's actually some weight to shield gambits, or the Ghoul Blade potency needs to go down to like 35, maybe 40, and they can go from there. Number 2, shield gambits are getting buffed this update. Yes, I cannot believe it. They are the best hanging effect in the game right now, objectively speaking. It's crazy. It's actually crazy. But yeah, they're getting even more damage on spells like Lord of Winter, and they're nerfing the counters like Fire Elf. So now the only good shield counter is Elephant. So everyone is going to have to run Elephant and Dual Fire because of how oppressive shields are. And there was a rumor floating around the community saying that Elephant might get nerfed, and oh my god, if the devs do that, that is actually insane. Like, I would understand if they fixed shields and then nerfed the counters, but not fixing shields when they're the best effect in the game and as oppressive as they are, and then just nerfing the counters is like quite insane, I'm not gonna lie. Now let's talk about the bad thing. Elements are going to be even more grindy. Instead of just needing 685 to tier 5 a spell, you're now going to need around 840, I believe, if you want to use the new Shadow Fusions. So basically, to my understanding, is you'll have the tier 5 your base spell. Let's take Rusolka, for example. And then you'll have to, like, you know, tier 2, tier 3, your Shadow version of Rusolka as well. This is bad because the entire community is pretty much unanimous in terms of, like, wanting spell elements to be way less grindy. One of the biggest problems in PvP right now is the fact that the barrier to entry is so high, and that indirectly kind of leaks into different parts of the mode and just makes it really annoying to play. So I really think every update, King Style should be prioritizing, you know, lowering the barrier to entry and not raising it like they did in this case, for example. We need to be making PvP more accessible and more widespread in the Wizard101 community, and not just keep making it this like little thing sitting in the corner that AI wants to neglect sometimes, you know? Number 2, a lot of spells got nerfed pretty hard that didn't need nerfs. So we have like Myth's Calendar, for example. It's pretty good in Live Realm, but now Myth has like no good burst hits because Jhin also got nerfed pretty hard. Jhin also, it did need a nerf, to be fair, but they did not need to do Calendar like that. Number 3, some packs automatically eat up the utility you create. So for example, let's say you cast a spell that gives you 3 blades, and the path condition is going to eat those 3 blades to give you 0% backlash. So why did you even cast the spell in the first place? It doesn't really do anything for you. You're just taking backlash, and if your opponent has a brain and counters the blades, you just cast a spell to take backlash. That's all you did. So it doesn't really make any sense. Number 4, another point on the packs, whenever you end a battle, you automatically take Lash. So let's say round 1, you cast the new Snowball Barrage AoE and kill everyone. You'll take 15% of your max HP after they all die. In PvE, honestly, I like this a lot because it adds to the immersion of shadow magic, but in PvP, it's going to result in more ties, which is something the community already doesn't like. Number 5, a lot of the shadow transformations are very undervalued. You know, like you could look at stuff like the new Shadow Nova. It's just, you know, a triple nerfed version of the Live Realm Strike. And the Live Realm Strike hardly keeps up with 110 resist and shield spam, generally speaking, if players are good, right? That's the big assumption there. So not very good, a lot of the new transformations. Same thing with the fire one as well. The fire one is pretty cool, Dark Fiend, but if you're not on like a myth or a fire where your pure stat is so high, you're just kind of shit out of luck because they can shield every turn and just get away with it. Number 6, obviously we all know jading is going to be crazy next update. It already is like the best strat in the game, and it's getting like 5 buffs this next update, and they're not putting a heal cap in, so very problematic. And number 7, they forgot to put in a shield removal pact. The last thing I want to add here, actually it's not on the list, but I think it's pretty important to talk about, is a lot of the new gods and fusions are really not good, and this is because of last year in the fusion update, right? The community provided feedback that, okay, well, we are very limited on deck space nowadays, so we cannot afford to pack a bad spell, right? And for a fusion, you need to pack 2 spells, right? So for example, let's take Pyre Dragon, the best fusion in the game. By the way, it got a buff this update, not a nerf, which is crazy. But both of the spells, Elephant and Skeletal Dragon, are just the best of the best. You're already packing those, and then you can put them together to get a great fusion, right? So oftentimes what will happen, realistically right now, is the fusion, like the end result, once they're combined, is not terrible, but the issue is you have to pack 1 or sometimes 2 cards that are really bad that you'll never use to actually get that fusion, right? So it's kind of an issue, right? I told the devs about this spring of this year that like it doesn't matter how good you make the fusion if we don't have the deck space to put this stuff in, or if you don't make the cards good or valued properly, like we're not going to get the chance to use them. For example, the storm spells, like I think honestly like 3 other shads are pretty cool, and I like them a lot. Actually, I don't mind the storm changes this update, which is kind of a hot take, so a lot of people are like, oh my god, storm is so freaking ass right now this update, it got giga nerfed, which I agree to an extent. But if their shadow creature pact thing, whatever, wasn't absolutely terrible, you could actually use it and then get these cool fusions that aren't bad. Like the newer Solka is really good. It's really good because the base version of it, the shadow creature, I don't know what it's called, I'll put it up on screen. He's just so bad. I don't have the space to pack that. It's not going to help me. And lastly, at the end of the video here, I just want to add some lore to what we know about Darkmoor. So as right now, we know there's going to be different factions in Darkmoor, kind of similar to Mirage, which I think is honestly a really, really cool idea if they can execute it properly. I wasn't really a fan of it in Mirage. It didn't really have any impact or weight. Like I didn't really notice it, you know what I mean? But hopefully this time around, you can actually like, choose a faction, kind of like similar to Weaving, and actually get some cool benefits and what. But yeah, that's everything I got for the video, y'all, for the Darkmoor update here. If you enjoyed it or found it useful, be sure to leave a like and a sub. If not, that's okay. I appreciate you guys watching to the end. And yeah, we should be seeing Test Realm this week. I'm thinking it's gonna go live tomorrow. Not go live, like Test Realm's gonna go up tomorrow probably. Maybe Wednesday. It should be this week because we just came off 2 weeks of teasers. So usually that means Test Realm goes live on the 3rd week, right? So yeah, I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you for watching. Take care and goodbye.